and want to search our locker because, someone was stupid and posted something on their MySpace, dealing with, drugs or weapons or something like that. That's, in more case that could be seen in high school. But if you have nothing to hide, then you should have nothing wrong with anybody coming to search your locker.
But Ferris, why should we care? Because it's a blatant violation of everything that America stands for. We're going into Iraq, we're going into these countries, and we're saying that we're a democracy and we give freedom to our people, and then we're taking away those same rights that we're priding ourselves on. That's completely hypocritical to everything we've been taught about being Americans.
I want to know how many people in the audience and out there watching us on TV, listening to us on the radio, how many of you have Facebook accounts? How many of you have MySpace accounts? How many of you do things outside of school that you wouldn't want anyone else to know about? That's what we're talking about here, people. I think everyone generally accepts the point that we don't want terrorism, that stopping terrorists is a good thing. But what I'm worried about, where the real invasion of privacy is, where I can say, I love guns, I'm a member of the NRA, and then I get wiretapped or my computer is surveilled because I have a picture of me with a gun on Facebook or MySpace. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar, but we did a show a little while back about a kid who had pictures of himself on MySpace with guns. So when they thought he had stolen a PlayStation 3, they sent an entire SWAT team to his house, ended up shooting him in the head, but just because he had pictures of himself with a gun on the internet.
Well, I'm here with someone very near and dear to my heart. Peter Katrakis, take it away.
All right. I think that it's okay that we're observing people. I mean, as the American government, it would be so expensive and impractical to say, oh, here's 300 high school students. Let's survey all of them. I mean, that's so impractical. I mean, what are the chances of us as high schoolers, planning bombs and doing stuff like that, as a national threat thing? I mean, come on, honestly. We're not going to go out and bomb a government building or anything like that. And I don't have anything to hide. And I think as someone that doesn't have anything to hide, I can be surveyed. I mean, what's wrong with that? I mean, it's accepted over in the UK. I mean, you're not as a parent, you're not allowed to go inside of a school building, into classrooms, and visit your child. And they're used to that by now. And after this whole action takes effect here in the U.S., people will get more used to it. And it'll be more like the UK. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
I love the UK too, and I could tell you love the UK, and I think it's okay for people to be surveilled. I think surveillance is a good thing. I don't think that they're going to survey 300 high school students. I think that it's going to be random, and I hate to hear that people are like, oh, well, they're going to be looking at my MySpace account. Trust me, unless you're a terrorist that has an Iraqi flag in the background and some bombing and says jihad all over your MySpace account, they don't care about what your MySpace says or how drunk you're getting on the weekends. They're not worried about that sort of thing. They're worried about the real threats, not the patriots like John who's holding guns and is a part of the NRA. They care about terrorists, people who truly want to blow themselves up and kill American citizens.
Dante, I hate to interrupt you, but I've got to hit you with a serious question here if I can put you on the hot seat now.
By all means.
Aren't there any political implications to this? If a White House panel says it's okay for the White House to be surveying and having wireless warrant taps on the American public, don't you think at all that there's any sort of motivation for the White House to use that political advantage that they have over their opponents above and beyond protecting and safeguarding the American public?
Well, I was under the presumption that the journalists were already into that. They were already stealing the privacy of people. Heck, most people don't get much privacy as is if you're in the limelight because the public already knows because of journalists. Journalists are, the government's only doing what journalists have been doing for years. So honestly, that's not a big deal.
But see, what you guys are saying is, yes, that might be true. Yes, I have nothing to hide. But it doesn't change the fact that just like what Dan said, what if one day I want to be a politician? And I say one little tiny thing, like maybe that, me and Homa used to be friends and her last name was Hassan, and then they go and they trace all these things. That's when it becomes an issue. The politics and the government will use these kind of things. George, the White House will use these kinds of things for to trace down like things in your past. And why can't you just be a person? Why can't you just live your life without having to worry about everything in your life being known? Or like what Vivi's close friend was talking about, that it's become a part of life. Yeah, in other countries it's become a part of life that they have a dictator. That doesn't mean that it's right. It's become a part of life that, they don't have civil liberties. And this is a small thing that gets it there.
Deanna, you and your conspiracy theories are great for the blogs on the internet, but I'm talking about real life here. Mr. Katrakis in the audience a minute ago said we don't need to worry about anything. Dante was in agreement with him that they're not going to go out and they're not going to surveil all these high school students. Well, let me bring it back to the real world for a second. What about under the guise of preventing another Columbine? What about that? What about placing more police officers in schools and cameras in schools and in classrooms? What about that? That's the real world stuff I'm talking about here, not Big Brother George Bush looking down on you, dragging you away to a secret prison and torturing you for 6 months. I'm talking about a teacher coming up to you after class and saying, I saw you on a video camera passing a note. 3 weeks detention, okay? That's the real world stuff we're talking about here, and it starts small like that, but it does get bigger. Think about it.
Well, John, we'll see what our audience has to say with that. I'm sitting in the audience with J.C. Geipin from the men's soccer team.
Yeah, I would like to kind of agree with John here, but if you don't want anything, if you don't want people to know what you're doing, like, as in like Columbine, people are going to be checking after that. I don't want somebody coming into our high school and shooting up the place. I don't want that happening. So I like people to be checking. If they have to check me out and they think that I do something, then I'd rather have that than someone come in and shoot. And if you want to put something out on the internet and you don't want that to be seen by other people and be checked on, then don't put it on the internet.
I hate to interrupt you right there, but we're going to have to go to a commercial break and be right back. Just to let you know, this segment of the Teen Forum Show is brought to you by Savvy Formal Wear. Go on the internet and check out all of our great stations around the country, such as WFNC in Fayetteville and WBBU-FM in Blacksburg, Virginia, or check us out at teenforumshow.com.
Ever have this happen to you? Not a very pleasant feeling, yet it may be inevitable. Sudeth Automotive has the expertise for all your automotive service and repairs. Certified technicians at Sudeth are here to make sure you get the most out of your vehicle and get back on the road safely. Sudeth Automotive on Millwood. Call 256-2110, or you can schedule your car's appointment online anytime at SudethAutoservice.com. SudethAutoservice.com.
Hi, my name is Homa Hassan, and you're watching the Teen Forum Show. Be sure to check us out on your local radio station and in your newspaper, and check us out at www.teenforumshow.com.
Hi, I'm Dan Fenner from the Teen Forum Show, standing here beneath a big guest who helps make the Teen Forum Show possible out here. He's John Green from Cycle Center, and this is the first time he's been out on location with the Teen Forum Show. John, how does it feel to be out here while we're taping our TV show?
It's great, man. I really think it's an important forum because hearing what you guys have to say about current events is just really important to get out to the rest of the community.
Well, tell us a little bit about what you do. Obviously, you've been watching our work this afternoon today, but what do you do down at Cycle Center?
Well, we're actually the largest dealer of bikes in South Carolina, and also very close to here. So you guys can all come down, and we'll take good care of everybody who comes in and make sure they get the right kinds of bikes.
Now, I've been to your 5 Points location, and I need a little bit of bike advice from you. What would you recommend for a guy my size who's going to be riding not off-road, just in the city of Columbia? What would you recommend to me? I'm looking for a light frame, thin tires, that European look. What do you recommend?
Right, something like probably a Specialized Cirrus, or there's some people who just take regular mountain bikes and convert them, but we have all kinds of bikes. We have like 380 bikes in stock.
And what if I don't know how to build a bike? I mean, I hate to downplay myself here, but what if I don't know how? Can Cycle Center help me with that?